Blue Archive. If you've been following along with this channel for any period of time, you more than likely have seen a couple Blue Archive videos. In fact, my first video, or at least the first successful video on this channel, was regarding Blue Archive. So, needless to say, I do have some degree of an attachment to this game. So, today, as the end of the year kind of rolls around, I do want to go through each of the primary gacha games I played on this channel and discuss my opinions on them, what started my interest in the game, how did my first experience, or at least the learning curve go, and give my final thoughts and my recommendations. Each individual game will get its own review, and then at the beginning of 2023, I'm probably going to set out a beginner's guide. So if that interests you, be sure to subscribe, because not only will I be using my own information, but I'll also be consulting long-term players or more meta-focused individuals for specific games. Keeping all of that in mind, we're talking about Blue Archive here, and for me personally, I did not start Blue Archive with the intention or with the knowledge about the game world or the characters or really an interest in it. I quite legitimately was just looking for something to play, saw it in the App Store, I saw a couple people talking about it on YouTube and decided, hey, let me download this. And I did. I started an account. I think I rerolled for Hibiki. I got Hibiki and Iori at one point in the same reroll. And then I proceeded to continue rerolling because I didn't want or care too much for Iori or Hibiki. I decided I liked Maki. And I think for me, my beginning account set out with Maki and Iori in the very beginning, and then I got Hibiki much later on. I ended up pulling my first unit on a banner, which was Mashiro. The legitimate and honest reason I pulled for her was simply because her line 2D was pretty nice. It awakened numerous different things within me. And as a result of that, I kept playing. I didn't care too much for the story. I didn't care too much for the gameplay itself. It was a rather casual game that I had in the background but didn't play actively. And to be honest, I still don't play the game super actively. I'll occasionally log in, I'll occasionally do something, but overall, it's not a game that I'm consistently playing every day or every other day even. And for many individuals who've been here from the very beginning, or have at least seen a lot more of my shorter videos, you know that my favorite character in the game is Zuna. She is kind of the character who not only got me interested in the story or the individual units of this game, because I really liked her design. I like foxes, in case you haven't noticed already. And ultimately, I put it into a storyline. I decided to go back and redo all the original relationship stories that I got thus far, which then led me into the path of learning about the sub-stories and then the main storyline, and then that led me to my first video. And then after that, well, you kind of see where the channel has gone. Izuna was also the first individual who kind of was my test run for a new style of content. That was the nutshell videos that people liked. Very short, difficult to edit, not gonna lie, I don't know why I did that. But overall, that sort of ballooned the success of my channel. And then I moved on to other games, Arknights. I'd actively played Genshin Impact in the background. I tried a couple of games here and the Blue Archive has been something that I've consistently played or at least discussed. Because to me, I think Blue Archive is the game that excels the most at characterization. Every unit speaks differently. Every unit has a different interaction. And the personalities kind of showcase, whether that be through the skilled animations themselves, with Live 2D, which obviously should be an expression of personality, or at least some scene that they had, or it's expressed directly through the text you get in Momo Talk. And so if I was just to judge this game off that alone and ignoring the issues I have with the gameplay, or at least how dull I find the gameplay itself to be sometimes, I do personally enjoy Blue Archive a lot. I have a lot of relationship storylines that I haven't done, like 43. But the ones that I have done, for the characters I thought were cute, I legitimately enjoyed. Don't get me wrong, I understand that like 50% of Blue Archive is carried solely by the art community, whether that be on Twitter or legitimately any other platform. I mean, the dojins are great. But I also would like to mention that I think a lot of individuals do underrate Blue Archive. I think it gets a bad reputation because of the characters themselves, not only the environment in a high school setting, but also the ages of the characters. And I don't think that's deserved because, in my opinion, the game does a lot more than just try to sell you on the designs. Don't get me wrong, that plays a part, but that plays a part in any gacha game. I personally think that Blue Archive deserves a lot more credit. Not only can you get pretty much any unit you want, so if you like Yoshimi, you can actually use her, and over time, you can rank her up, get her into a different star level, from 1 star or 2 star to 3, 4, and then 5. Even your higher rarity units that you specifically summon for on a banner can get to the same level as your pretty standard low rarity units. And as they go up, they increase their stats. As they go up in ranking, they may unlock new abilities. The game encourages you or uses that to encourage you not only to just level them up to a high level, but to also use your LFs to advance them into a different rarity ranking. Taking that into consideration, you also have the event units, the ones that are given out exclusively during events. Michiru was recent. You had to complete the first story mission, and you got her pretty much immediately. She starts out at a level 1, extremely low rarity, the lowest rarity. But over time, if you want to unlock that Mystic, you not only improve her abilities, but you also unlock different skills. So to me, there's not as much pressure put on an individual to pull for a new unit. In fact, throughout the different Gacha games I've played, there doesn't seem to be, or at least for me, when I do play Blue Archive, I'm not pressured or in any way inclined to pull a unit because they're strong. I get strong units, but that's usually because I'm like, oh, they're cute. Or their live 2D is something I've seen and it's like, I want that. In those cases, it's actually pointless because I still default to Izuna, Hibiki, I believe Kayako, and Michiru now. Because not only are they really nice, but they're also really, really good thumbnails. Like you just get a Kayako live 2D, you full screen it so all the menu stuff is away, you slide the text to the right, you got a perfect thumbnail right there. Look, anyways, I think Blue Archive, aside from just not getting enough appreciation for the effort it does put into, its story, into its characters, at least has a pretty good fan base. Like, despite how horny a lot of the fan base may be and how people do talk about the fan base and how, considering Blue Archive, is a very, very lewd game sometimes, at least regarding art, considering how certain meta slaves have gotten my videos demonetized, I can still comfortably say that if you're looking for a community, I think Blue Archive has one of the best, not just because it's a extremely lewd community. I think, in fact, because of that, a lot of the individuals who play the game center around very similar ideas. You have the meta slaves, but they're not exactly so focused on it that they're pushing it onto you. They're helpful, but they're not being an ass about it. You have individuals who play the game just because they like their favorite waifu, or you have individuals who play the game because they legitimately enjoy the story. And all of these things, to me at least, add into a game sphere or a game space that if you're just starting the game out, or maybe you're just trying it for the first time, you can go pretty much anywhere. The subreddit, the official Discord, the unofficial Discord, my Discord, link down below. And you will, for the most part at least, always have a relatively good experience compared to other different gacha games. And to me, it also extends to the players. They don't try to overwhelm you with all the information you need for every individual unit or for every little thing in the game. And mostly, I think that's due because a lot of players don't understand or care too much about certain mechanics in the game. Because you can, to a degree, sometimes brute force it. Like, if we're splitting hairs here, I have never played a joint firing drill. Like, I will miss Total Assault except for like one day and then I'll do it. I used to be on it every day. Now, at most, you're going to get 2 days out of me. Scrimmage, I barely do. Bounties, I barely do. Commissions, I'll do if I have a bunch of stamina and I don't know what else I want to do with it. Other than that, I'll just farm mission stages. Like, that is the level of casual I've become now. And I do dedicate my time to other games, but I do want to get back into Blue Archive, give a rough story summary, and kind of have that video out for the first or second week of January. Because I legitimately believe more individuals should give Blue Archive a shot. I think they should play it for themselves. I honestly think the publisher, Nexon, kind of ruined it first for individuals just because they had bad association, bad connotations with the developer itself. But the game is really good. Let's all be honest here. I'm pretty sure nobody was unhappy about the separated versions in which one was censored and one wasn't. And I think we can all agree that the character designs are pretty nice. And that's my opinion on Blue Archive. I enjoy the game. I have fun with the game. I recommend the game. I just don't care too much about the meta. And overall, I try to take things very slowly. I'm mainly here for the characters, the cute ones, for the live 2Ds, the interesting relationship storylines, to see if I could actually find some enjoyment in the unit that I previously didn't like. And I think that if a game can get you to play just off the characters alone, then it's succeeded in a pretty big proportion. Gacha games can sell you on a character designs all they want, but if the character feels as flat as a cutting board afterwards, it doesn't really make much of a difference. But if a character has a nice design and has an amazing personality, or they feel and act like a unique individual, then I think that just adds more emphasis to them. You're more inclined to remember them, like, oh, who's your favorite character? Oh, well, it's this one. Versus if every character acts the exact same, has the exact same copy-paste layout of personality, then you're not really gonna care for anything other than the designs or their strength and overall gameplay. So I recommend Blue Archive. Like, off the rip, I recommend Blue Archive. Play it. If you dropped it, come back, play it again. I don't care. I just think it's a good game. Like, honestly, it's one of the few gachas I didn't drop. I stayed with it consistently throughout the year. So, hey, give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fair, but don't stop other people's enjoyment of it. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.